we say negative feeling is truly existed, then things they would never end. So that feeling is cannot be end because it's a permanent, right? Permanent cannot change. That's why no end. Why would they not affect feeling of great joy and happiness? And if the negative feeling is permanent, then that affected to positive feeling. So we never ever get positive feeling. Making it impossible for them to ever arise. So not possible to positive feeling arise, never ever. The reason is negative feeling is permanently inherently exist. Conversely, if happiness had true existence, uh, happiness is also like that, truly existing. Why do those suffering greatly from grief and sickness? So if positive feeling is permanent, then how can be people get sick and how can get people get suffering? Because due to lose the family and due to the sickness, disease, many different kind of situations, we get sick, right? It's not happy. How can happen that? Not possible if the uh, positive feeling is permanently exist. Not find any joy in uh, not find any joy in delicious food and the like. See, someone is like have a strong difficulty and suffering, even the food, delicious food and something like doing good things environment that doesn't have anything because still your unhappy, suffering, sadness is there. So that means like say uh, the happiness also not truly exist. Happy feeling is not truly exist. If happiness feeling is truly exist, then not possible to we get sad and suffering. Also, see, in the good environment, if it's people sad and unhappy, that doesn't change. Like even you eat good, delicious food, still that you not happy, sad feeling is there. So that means happiness also not truly exist. There should, if happiness had true independent existence, but they clearly do not. So see, we can see happiness is independent, then always we have to happy, joy, but that clearly do not means like it's not. So happiness also not independent. It's dependent. Suffering also dependent. The dependent means not permanent. So dependent means not inherently exist. Then that is gone there, it's permanent, it cannot be exist and not there. So that is a kind of a more is introduction about this mindful feeling meditation. So other is go more just a different kind of ways explain, but this first verses you can see the just talk about more important Maya Minka. He just giving introduction about this mindful feeling meditation. Then go to more detail, is answer. So this who accept feeling is permanent, these philosophers don't accept like what Maya Minka put in the Maya Minka view. Maya Minka said feeling is cannot be permanently inherently exist. If permanently inherently exist, then like same is the last way we talked, so that person hearing the songs, right? 24 hours hearing the songs. So like that, like all the time, maybe joy or maybe all the time sad. So either way, some then like these worldly people, Some is extremely joy all the time, permanently. Some is that person never ever get suffering. Some is always said unhappy, that person never ever get happiness, if the feeling is permanent, inherently exist. So that's Mayamika's view. And then here, the who says that the feeling is permanent, then there's give answer. Indeed, pain really exists. There's a yeah, pain is exist. Suffering is exist. But when a strong feeling of pleasure occurs, so they say, okay, pleasure feeling comes very strong. The pain is not experienced. Then that time we don't recognize we have a suffering. We don't see our suffering because it is overridden by the pleasure. See, pleasures overcome to the suffering. So even we have a suffering, is we don't see. So this group, I mean, this philosopher or the Sugur who accepted the feeling is a permanent. So this group think still suffering is there, but joy is overcome. We don't see suffering is there still. So they think that way. Then Mayamika said, no, that cannot be. But simply because it is lacks the defining characteristic of a feeling. So see, there's a painful is you cannot see because the joy feeling is overcome to that, right? Then main point the Shankideva here say, Mayamika said, then you have to say no painful feeling there. Because no object there, then how you can say feeling there, So it's simply because it is lacks the defining characteristics, see, like the of negative suffering there, the characteristic of a feeling, namely experience, no any experience. How can something which is not of the nature of experience be a feeling? So then how you can say is nothing is there, still you say that is a feeling. So we cannot say, like, see, if no object there, so you say, oh, consciousness is there. Consciousness, subject and object. Without an object cannot have a subject. So without pain, suffering, the whole can have object, subject there, So because mind never any experience suffering, then how can they have an object of suffering? So the pain is not experienced, see, because it is, sorry, it's the next one. How can something which is not of the nature of in experience, see, it's the negative painful is no experience, be a feeling, then how you can say that is the suffering object there. So Mayamika said, just say negativity is not existed. When pleasure is very strong, happy, joy, that time, you say pain object, negative object is not existed there. Answering, so they're saying again, it is a feeling because they're feeling because so this numbers is like just referring to the other verses. There is an experience of a very subtle pain. That's a very subtle level pain. Surely only the gross aspect of suffering is dispelled by the strong pleasure. Then this is always like same as the last week we shared the teaching. See, talk about sound forms, right? If a song is a permanent, then we always have to hearing the sound 24 hours, same sound. So like that. Here also it is a feeling because there's an experience of very subtle pain. It's subtle, there's a still subtle pain is there. Surely only the gross aspect of suffering is dispelled by strong pleasure. So there's a gross suffering is gone, but still subtle level pain is always there. And so this group, what they think, When we have a happiness, there's still that thing, suffering, subtle level is there. When we have a suffering, that thing, subtle level, joy is always there. So that subtle level is always permanent there. So then, see, the witches become more strong. So that is arise, but actually causes like kind of permanently there exist. But Shanti Deva, he said, like, when is you have a joyful feeling, he said that time, no any negative feeling there. Because no any experience negative, then how you can say negative is there. So when you are suffering and then you don't have happiness feeling there, because you don't get any experience happiness during that time, because it's due to suffering. So then you say like no happiness that time. So see, when darkness, then no sun comes, no darkness. So like that, you cannot say it's a sun is there, but still, subtle darkness is there. Because when sun arises, no more darkness. When dark, no sun there. So which one is like become strong and the other is go away, right? So that means that it's impermanent, changing. So this group thinking, the feeling, anything like just this is like focus with the feeling, but other senses object always there permanently. But which is become overcome and other is gone. But gone means only just gross level gone, but subtle levels always there. So Shanti Deva main point is that no subtle level there too. It's all gone. So when condition comes, then the feeling is come back again. But you get another conditions like say joy condition, pleasure condition all comes. Negative suffering is gone. Negative condition comes, pleasure is gone. So that means like the changing. Feeling is impermanent and changing. So this group, they don't want like that because that thing always there. Feeling is always there. That's why this debating is coming. So the nature of this subtle pain is a slight, vague feeling of happiness, distinct from the gross sensation of pleasure. The pleasure is a very strong and the subtle level negative feeling is still there. So that's that says. My Yamika answer. Mm, but this subtle experience cannot possibly be a form of pain, because say it is a form of happiness. See, there no, you cannot say that still have a like subtle level painful there, because say it is a form of happiness, like joy feeling. Then how can they have a negative feeling there? No experience, see, no negative, no experience can be simultaneously pleasurable and painful. So these two cannot be together. Pain, your feeling, negative feeling cannot be together. If pain is not occurring in someone's mind because it is opposite is occurring, see, if pain is not occurring, no painful is there, no suffering feeling there in someone's mind, because it is opposite is a positive joy feeling is occurring. Then to consider what has not occurred to be a feeling is surely what could only be called a mistaken conception. So actually, see, this then to consider see that the what has not occurred, if like maybe the painful feeling is not occurred to be a feeling, is surely what could only be called a mistaken conception. Then how can you say still the negative feeling subtle level is there? If no negative subtle level feeling there, then you say it's still feeling is there. That means you are like saying is mistake. Mistake conception, not incorrect. So then next one. Therefore, as a remedy for such mistaken conceptions, one should cultivate the wisdom which analyze the no true existence of all phenomena. So that's the reason like we can, use analyze for this mistaken conception. Mistaken conception is actually feeling is permanently not exist, but we think feeling is positive, negative feeling is permanently exist. That is, mistaken conceptions. So for such mistaken conception, one should like then we have to cultivate wisdom. What means wisdom? Which analyze. So use analytical meditation. The no true existence. Then you know the feeling is no exist, no true existence of all phenomena. So you recognize the object of different kind of focus senses faculties object feeling also not exist. The state of absorption that arise. So you use the analytical. The result is absorption meditation is arise. Rises means like you use analytical meditation. Then result is you get shamatha vipassana meditation, like shamatha vipassana. Absorption that arises from the fields of what is examined. So then the actually this absorption meditation is come from is examine analytical meditation. By this mind is the nourishment that sustains the yogi's understanding of the way things exist. So that is the kind of like more following the is poetry is so all the good quality arising from the analytical meditation. Main point is so use the analytical meditation, then you free from mistaken conceptions. You use analytical meditation, then you get the state of absorption that arise. That is peaceful, joy, happy, and not dependent joy and happy. So not permanent joy, happy, but it's peaceful, abiding. So then,
Can I ask a question, Khenpo?
no first, please. So then, is what is examined by this mind is the nourishment. So then mind also become arise more wisdom that sustain the yogis. Then that is the like yogis, yoginis practicing. Should do that way. Then you understanding of what the way things exist. So they're really understanding what is like things correct, is no mistaking. There no follows are refutation of the no true existing of a contract. There no follows means then they follow the refutation of the no true existing of a contract. So then they follow the right view, the cause of a feeling. In the first three stanzas means like this 93, 94, 95, the the verses. So in the first three stanzas, these verses, the argument is directed against those who, as partless atomic particles. So who accept like partless particle is exist. So that 93, 94, 95, that verses is like actually already giving answers already there. So now here is like Shantideva that just going into the debating with the cause of the feeling. So up there so far what we talked is he debated like with the feeling is not permanent. He said feeling is not permanent. If feeling is permanent, then we must be always happy or must be always sad. So either way cannot be, can change. Uh, so now next is he going to debating this the causes of feeling is not exist. So he going to analyze to causes of feeling. So causes of feeling is here is see the you know uh, who exert partless atomic particles. So atomic particles actually the 93, 94, 95 verses already talked they not exist. So long if this exists, partless particles permanently inherently exist, then they have a causes of feeling. But actually, these partless particles not exist. That's the reason causes of feeling also not exist. Mayamika, if there were space between the sense faculties such as the eyes and the objects such as visual forms, how could the two ever meet? See, we have six, senses faculties and six object. So there, how can meet together there? The feeling means like, you have to meet your these faculties and object. Then you have to get feeling, but these two never ever meet. Then how can have feeling there? And this logically, analytically meditation, you cannot approving, the senses of faculties and these objects as the visual forms or these others, like you cannot approving the meet together. So if you don't meet together, how can you get feelings? Uh, okay, uh, how could the two ever meet? There would be like a mountain in the east and a mountain in the west. So these two cannot be meet together. They have, uh, you know, between space, uh, faculties, and object. The six object, six faculty. This between has space. Then Shanti Devas, if they have a space, there would be like a mountain in the east and a mountain in the west. They cannot meet together because they have space. But if there were no space at all, then if these two no space or means like senses faculties and objects are no any space at all, then sense they would become one unit, become one. So what could meet what? Then how can meet that together? It's become one is cannot be meet. If they have a space, cannot meet. So that is logically, like cannot meet together. There would be no matter and nothing to be meet with. Mm, so there no possible, you have like can find somewhere to the like logically can meet together. No possible. They never meet together. Nothing to be meet with. So the main point is to see this focal senses faculties and object cannot be meet together. So eye faculty and visual form, they meet together or no? Cannot meet because they have space, right? There must be space. Otherwise, you wear glasses, you cannot see the object. See, that means you have space with your object and your this faculty, senses faculty between has space. So then space like is you have space and then another something come in the still you have space, another come in the space, like then you like space is like same as mountain, east mountain and west mountain, like that. They're not possible meet together. Okay, if there your focus senses visual of the eye faculty and visual form is meet together, then they become one unit together. So unit, then what could meet what? So me means like two independence like meet together, right? Okay, so that is become unit, one unit, how can meet together? What could meet what? See, there would be no matter and nothing to be meet with. Furthermore, so it's more go details. The partless atomic particles of the sense faculty and the partless atomic particle of the object cannot meet on all sides because they cannot enter into one another. So here is talking about both, partless atomic particle of the sense faculty, for the sense of like eye faculties, partless particle, and the visual form object partless particle, they meet or not. So they cannot meet together. And the partless atomic particle of the object cannot meet on all sides because they cannot enter into one another. See, they cannot meet. They cannot join in, enter into the one. So I is like here is talking about the eye senses faculty and also the object, uh, visual object form. Uh, then that ideas you can follow to other faculties. So same as other faculty cannot merge into one another. This is so because atomic particles have no space inside and are completely equal in size. Where the two meet, so then how can they meet together? Partless particle means no any directions. They cannot join together. They would have to do so in this way because without one partless atomic particle entering into another, there could be no mixing of the two, and without this mixing, there could not possibly be any meeting on all sides. So if the partless particle cannot mixing, they cannot join. If mixing, then cannot, be possibly be meeting together. So if not join together, cannot meet. If meet, mm, so yeah, if not join together, then no meet. If join together, and then there cannot because it's no particles, partless particle cannot into each other. Into another, there could be no mixing of the two, and without this waxing, mixing, there could not possibly be any meeting on all sides. Also, this 95 is more explained. But how would it be logical for those who accept the existing of a partless atomic particle to say that it is meet on one part particular size by another partless atom. Particular size of another partless atom. So that's a question, how can they meet? If that were the case, the partless atomic particle would have one part which is meet. If they have a part, then can meet, but no part. Partless means no part. Have one part which is meet with and another part which is not meet at all. So no part cannot meet all. Hence it would no longer be partless. If they meet, then that cannot be no partless particle. But if you ever see,
Okay, I found this.
Okay. But if you ever see an atomic particle that has no parts but can still be met with, please would you show it to us? It also follows that. So if you see something, partless particle is joined together, touch to each other. If you have like that, the Shantideva said, please show me like that. He said he never see like that before. That means it's just not possible. Never ever happened like that. Then next is that part is like 93 to 95. These verses talk about feeling the cause is not exist. Feeling causes must be faculty, sense faculties, or object. So analytically, this faculty is, this senses faculty and object cannot meet together. And also actually faculty himself is not truly exist. Object also not truly exist. Because the faculties, like senses faculty is like analyzed, so goes to the partless particle. Then partless particle also you use analytically, no exist, go just space, is empty, nothing is existed there inherently. So this group says no partless particle is exist because partless particle create sense faculties and or the object. So Shantideva, that's why he say, okay, if the partless particle is permanently exist, then you can have sense faculties. So then you can meet two feelings, object, and then you can have feeling. But so main point is, and no sense faculties no exist. Is partless particles no exist. Then also the object also no exist. Object partless particle also no exist. Then there is no cause of feeling there. Feeling is a result, but cause is come from sense faculties and also the object. The sense faculty, object both are not exist. So now they're saying, also they have a consciousness. So there's a sense faculty, object comes together, they cannot meet, but the mind helps meet together. Mind helping to meeting together. So then we have feeling. So Shantideva say, okay, mind really cannot meet. The reason is mind is not physical. So then this all comes together means compound, together. That means like not inherently exist there anything. So it is illogical to meet consciousness because it is not physical. See, something physical cannot possibly meet something non-physical. So physical object cannot meet consciousness because consciousness is not physical. Consciousness cannot meet all the object because object is exist physical form. Consciousness is not physical. So that's why that two cannot meet each other. Objection. Although there is no physical meeting, there does exist a mere aggregation of the sense faculty, the object, and the consciousness to produce the effect of a cognition. So they produce all the feelings, understanding what happened, or the, like since this, like they're talking about 18 comes together. They have 18, right? 6 consciousness and 6 sense faculties, 6 different objects. So that is called, so all this is called 18 comes together. And usually this, in the Buddha's, the text is long teachings have this go follow one by one. We have see this sutra, the teachings. Then Buddha talk about one faculty, and then they talk about all this object. The faculty, then talk about all that object, and then they talk about consciousness. Then go back to another one, like this 5, 6 consciousness, 6 faculties, senses faculties, 6 object that the talk about more details. It's become very long pages, means like long teachings. So here is like just very short way. All this like together, just like example. We talk about like one faculty, then actually included already 6 of that faculties. We talk about one consciousness, visual, like seeing form object consciousness. Then other all consciousness is also there too. Then object also same. We're talking about a visual form object. Then actually the same example is, so go to the like song, taste, smell, senses, all this different kind of object there too. So anyway, they come together, 18. So then we have these feelings. That's Shantideva's answer. This is invalid because Shantideva said, okay, so that is not proving what you want. So their want is like feeling is permanent, right? They want to prove that, but Shantideva said, okay, so if you talk this way, feeling is cannot be permanent because its feeling is all dependent. Just as we analyzed before, see, we already talked analyze before. In aggregation is not found to be a truly existing thing. So this 5 aggregates is not truly existing object. So that is already shared teaching is verses 53. So then if in this way contact, the cause for feeling is not truly existent. So the cause of feeling is not truly existing because we already talked about this subject, object, sense faculties are not exist. So that's the reason, that is the causes of feeling. The causes not exist. So cause for feeling is not truly existent. From what do truly existing feelings? Then how can be feelings exist? Because the cause is not exist, then how can result is exist? The effect arise. Effect means like cause is not exist, then the effect, result also not exist. Thus, what is the purpose of trying oneself out for the sake of obtaining pleasurable feelings? Then Shantideva said, why you try to just proving, the feeling is exist. That's what is the purpose. So the why is like say purpose of trying oneself. So this, the scores out for the sake of obtaining pleasurable feelings. And likewise, whose mind could be caused any harm by what painful feelings. See, feeling is not exist. That's the reason the negative feeling, nothing going to harm to someone's mind. Both the pleasure which is obtained and the pain which harms have no true existence. So main point is why we so much, trying oneself out for the sake of obtaining pleasurable feeling. So why we try to so much pleasure feeling? Because the negative feeling is not exist. So pleasure feeling is not exist. Just think about it, like in the dream, someone like have dream, so that try to get positive feeling, really hit to negative feeling, but actually this both feeling is not really any affected our mind. Not negative feeling, not any affected, positive nothing benefit, because when you wake up, you see, is that just or is a delusion, nothing, both this feeling is not exist. So that's the main point, I think. So now going to analyze is the result of the feeling. When there is no true existent identity of the person that fears, and no truly existing feelings either. So see, the actually person is identityless, selflessness of a person, then how can they have a feeling there? Because feeling is must based on the person. Person is no exist. Then how can they have feeling? Truly existing feelings either. Having seen this situation, why do I not turn away the craving to obtain pleasure and to be separate from pain? We know like this feeling is not exist. Then why we try to so strongly attach try to get the positive feeling? Why so strong attached to positive feeling? Why hatred to the want to separate from the negative feeling? Because the actually there is no truly existing identity of the person, right? Person is not exist. Then why we so strongly attached to the positive feeling and try to get rid of the negative feeling? Since the sense object or like that too. So I 99 verses, I see and touch, so appear to me but have no true existence. So we see, okay, we can see the object, we can touch the object, we can hear the object. You can have smell object, and you can have taste the object, right? So you can have senses the object, but that all is actually not true existence. Their nature is like a dream and illusion. So this senses, like what we touch the object and all this five faculties object, what we using, pleasure or unpleasant, whatever we use, that all is the same as a dream and illusion. Therefore the subjective feelings of them can also have no true existence. Therefore, see, also then the subjective feelings, like mind is with feeling together. So can also have no true existing. Mind feeling, like see, our mind have feeling together comes, right? So the Shantideva say, okay, the feeling mind together, they both are not existence. The reason is the feelings are not seen or experienced by the mind. See, the feelings are not seen or experienced by the mind, which arises simultaneously with them. See, the mind feeling comes together. So Shantideva said this two is not related to any each other. So that both are unrelated, unrelated. Because this both come together means both are dependent. I mean, the independent, both are independent, not dependent. So there are no cause and result. Consciousness feeling cannot be cause and result. Conscious feeling comes together means like both are at the same time together means like both are must be not dependent each other. So feelings cannot be dependent consciousness. Consciousness cannot be dependent the feeling because they come together simultaneously. So see, father is dependent, son is dependent, father means that didn't come simultaneously. Father is like first, right? Means like he create a cause. So it's logically, but anyway, cannot approving. Like just, we say the relatively, of course, the father create a cause, then son is a result. Like that, like not simultaneously comes together. So in this case, see, like feeling consciousness, feeling and consciousness together. So then this cannot be dependent each other. Depending each other is like having cause is result is depending the cause. Cause also dependent result. Without a result, you cannot say cause. Cause is dependent result, result is dependent cause. But this cause result cannot be simultaneously together. And see, here is like consciousness, feeling is arise simultaneously together. So then these two is not dependent each other, cannot be dependent each other. So that's why feelings are not seen or experienced by the mind, which arise simultaneously with them, because since they are produced simultaneously with it, they would be causally unrelated to it. So that they don't have related to each other because unrelated to it. So that means like, see, feeling consciousness simultaneously comes unrelated. So your consciousness, the feeling cannot any affected your consciousness. So that feeling is like no useful, no exist for that. Okay, so then past, future, that is present, right? Now is go to the past and the future. Present cannot be, if present feeling no exist. Likewise, previous feelings and the later feelings is like future can be remembered. See, previous feeling is remember, consciousness only remember, and future feeling is just wish for. Both are not exist, but they cannot actually be experienced by the mind because mind cannot experience past feeling. Mind cannot have experience by future feeling. That both are not exist. Mind cannot experience by present feeling because the present feeling is we think is like usually mind experience the present feeling, but present feeling is like, see, mind is simultaneously together, so there's both unrelated to each other. They have, see, they know by the mind, because they have either caused or are yet to be produced. So see, it's already like past is already produced because they have either ceased. I see, ceased means already gone, or are yet to be produced, or maybe not yet produced. It's future, because there would be no experience. There anywhere cannot be have any experience. Previous feeling, future feeling cannot be experienced, and not experienced. They cannot experience themselves. And if one's own mind of the past, present, and the future cannot experience them, so then also our mind cannot experience past feeling, present feeling, future feeling. Nothing else can experience. If mind cannot experience your experience them either. So next 101. Therefore, no truly existing experience. Then see, no person also, not really who receiving the feeling. The person also not exist. Experiencer of feelings exist, and thus not truly existing feelings exist either. See, the person is not exist. Feeling also, who has experienced feeling, the person is not exist, then the feeling also not exist. So how can this addictlessness collection of aggregates be benefited by pleasurable feelings and harmful by painful ones? Then see, like we think about the love to ourselves, actually we not really exist ourselves. Then how can be the negative feeling effective for us, positive feeling benefit for us? So know what we have to do. We have to meditate, and we not attached to positive feeling, no hatred to negative feeling. Have to free from this, emotions. So that's the meditation. It cannot, because beneficial and harmful feelings do not truly exist. These feelings not truly exist. Then why we stuck with our emotions? Why we stuck with our feeling? If feeling is permanently inherently exist, then we can be, like attached to the positive feeling, hatred to the negative feeling, try to avoid the negative feeling, try to like we evolved or try to receive the positive feeling. But this both feeling is not exist. Also we receiver also not exist. Person also not exist. So that means like we mind needed to free from this positive and the negative feeling. Close placement of mindfulness on the mind. Okay, so that's the finish. That's the mindful feeling meditation. Okay, so now you have any questions we can discussion?
Khenpo, who is what, do you have any idea what school of thought Madhyamaka is dialoguing with in here?
Dialoguing with all this non-Buddhist. Same is like Kita Mata. There is, we already talked the up there is what they call the samkhya goals. Then Niyayaka, Samkhya goal, or this like many different kind there.
Khenpo, can I ask you a question? Okay.
I just have to figure it out for my sound off.
So, sorry. Okay.
Okay, so the song is not exist, right? Condition comes, the song arises, but where is it goes, where it come from? No source, no goes. That means the song is emptiness.
And there's no self to hear it.
Yes.
I have a question, Khenpo.
Mhm.
It's more like an observation. So I know probably when this was written, they didn't really know about atoms, but now we know that they do have parts. So I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's just confusing, like the whole, how does awareness come into, how do the sense organs come into contact with the object, and how is consciousness involved? That is interesting. But I guess the whole point of this is that none of it ultimately exists. Is that what you're saying, Khenpo?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Relatively, yes. Relatively, all this comes because that means like not something permanently inherently exists. That's why we all this condition can come together to produce the, senses, faculties, and object and consciousness. If something truly exists, then cannot produce this.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question, Khenpo. How might I see that the mind and the result of our sensations arise together?
What means? Can you say again?
How is it that our mind and feelings arise together, therefore are independent?
Independently, they don't have no feelings and independently.
I guess I'm having a hard time imagining how the mind arises.
Because it's an emptiness. It's dependent, interdependent. The feeling also interdependent. Interdependent means like no permanent there, no exist, permanently no exist. This right now we exist, no exist means like analytically exist or not. So not talking about like just you saying analytically exist or not, then that's you say, okay, this is a cup. Shanti Deva say, yeah, that's a cup. Okay, so this is a house. He say, yeah, his house. Oh, I heard the song. You say, yes, you can hear the song. But that is all relative truth, but that is delusion. So it's here is talking about analytically you saying then you have to find something true, but that means like, permanent, truly permanent, anything there exists.
So what he's saying that since mind and feelings are, we could say, interdependently arising, that they can't be causally related. Is that correct?
Interdependent arising is like not dependent, not permanent, right?
Yeah.
Interdependent arising is not independent. So no independent, dependently arising, then no any arguing there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Dependently arising.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please. This
okay.
time anyone can ask a question.
All right. I just want to make sure I was being heard. We mentioned the way things exist, the understanding of the yogi. Is there the way things exist is wisdom of the relative truth? Is that what they understand? What do we mean by the way things? What is the yogi's understanding of the way things exist? Is that the wisdom of the relative?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what is independent?
Independent.
Yes.
You mean what is independent?
Yes.
We don't have independent. So that's the Shanti they were approving. Nothing is independent there.
In the relative world, yes. But what about the absolute?
Yeah, but absolute is like is no other than relatively like absolute truth there. Absolute truth is I mean anyway, no independent anyway, like any true truth, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's this teaching.
Well, the independent didn't come out very clear. The dependent did, but not the independent. Okay.
Yeah, dependent. Everything is dependent.
All right, thank you.
Mm.
Hi, Khenpo. Can I ask a question? Who's first? My question is, I've seen one or two very advanced yogis that look like they were kind of losing it, almost like they were a little crazy, maybe in a sense, maybe in a good sense. But in any event, I was wondering if you could comment on that, if there's any type of what we would call in the Western world, mental illness associated with as like a side effect of traveling on the path. And also on that same note, it almost sounds like the description you're giving, if one had an experience of that state of emptiness, one, they might not realize that they were in that state of experience because there's no experiencer. And two, it sounds like depersonalization, which is like a type of mental illness. Can you comment on that or any part of that?
I really don't understand clearly. Sorry about.
Okay. I can think of one yogi.
Okay, first, who understand? Who can give answer there? Anyone is there? Understand
I
what?
think he's just saying, like,
Huh?
some of the crazy yogis, is that actually a mental disorder? Could it be a mental disorder, or are they just yogis doing things differently than what we expect? I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong.
So that's your question, Tom?
Yes, that's pretty close.
Could be. So we see that they're maybe crazy, but they're seeing we crazy. So that's the same. Malarepa seeing us crazy. We seeing Malarepa crazy. So then answer is there, right? Who's crazy really? So
True enough.
so you know, we see this who has a mental problem is crazy, but realizes seeing we are same exactly like more worse than that too.
How's that last part go?
So realizers are seeing mental problem. We see the other people mental problem, right? We think we are correct.
Okay.
But realizers sees we are also same as other mental problem, just a little bit different than
Well,
but anyway, we are mental problem.
I've seen the definition of depersonalization, and it just sounds so.
I give you one example, okay? It's this the Aryan Deva, he give this example. It's a story. He shared the story. And one kingdom, astrologer person, says it's rain is coming. The rain is a poison rain. So going to affect it is who drink the water, then everyone going to crazy. Then the king, he said the rain cannot go to his drinking water. So he ordered that, and they covered his, where is to get water. They covered the where king get water, and he didn't drink the poison rain. Everyone drink the poison rain. Okay. So everyone is crazy, but king is not crazy. But then king tried to make the law and the rules. These crazy people, they say, no, you are crazy. That everyone say king is crazy. So king says, no, you crazy because due to you do this poison ring. That's why you are crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm right. So others say, no, you are crazy. So actually, who's really crazy? Because who drink the poison ring, they are crazy. King is just temporarily, he's right? Relatively, he's okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So the same like that. We are crazy because we have all this drink already ignorance, emotions.
Right. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So then anyway, who is free from dualistic thoughts? There is like free from emotions. They're not these emotions affected for them. So, but we think they are crazy, but actually, reality, we are crazy.
Okay. I understand it. Yeah.
Okay. So then I have only that answer for you.
But then it comes back to if you Google depersonalization, which is a mental, what in the West we call a mental illness, it just sounds so similar to someone who is free from concepts. In other words, I could read it to you probably, but anyone can look it up. I was just kind of curious if there is a relationship between the two. I'm not saying I understand.
No related. Okay, like I tell you the term. Other one is free from suffering. Other one has a source painful and suffering. So yogis is free from suffering. This worldly things not affected for them. Mental
Right.
problem people is suffering, extremely suffering. That's why they care other people.
It's why they what?
That's why they're killing other people.
No, it's
Their problem
that's
people get the gun and care other people because that means they are suffering. And yogis see they have a compassion for all this, these beings, everyone, like they're crazy. They're seeing everyone crazy. They have so strong compassion for everyone, all the beings. But mental problem, they don't have that compassion. They don't have that kind of ability, and they're also stuck with the suffering. And realize there's free from suffering. They have strong compassion for others. So if you see some mental problems, they're not suffering, they have very strong compassion for other beings, then that is no mental problem. That is a yogi.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great answer, Khenpo.
Khenpo.
Yes.
So with regards to the atoms, it's correct. The argument is still correct today because even if atoms have parts within the atoms, now subatomic particles, there's something called string theory, and then there's the smallest thing right now is a a partless, I guess we call it partless, one-dimensional string. So it's the same argument, it's just smaller. Anyways, my question is about not arising. I understand it doesn't arise from the self, but I don't understand how it doesn't arise from other. That's like, for example, a flower. Like there's it arises from water and earth. So I'm not sure how it doesn't arise from other.
Last part.
Hello?
Can you say again last part? I didn't hear.
A flower. How come it does not arise from other? Because you need water and you need sunlight and you need earth, and it's from other that give rise to a flower. So how come you can't say it's from other that give rise to flower?
See, those flowers come from independent, right?
Yes, from
See,
other.
That's it proven. You know, Shanti Deva said flower is not permanent. You need soil, you need water, you need warmth, you need everything together. You know, that means like flower is not independent, it's dependent.
Yes, but he says no arising, but that's arising, right? Together it gives birth to a flower.
Not arising, permanently in the sky, flower arising? No, because no condition. Yeah, that's it. He means that, okay?
Oh, no, not permanently arising. That's what he means.
Yes.
But there is relative arising.
Of course. Who can against relative truth? No one can against relative truth.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Khenpo, can I ask you about number 100? Why is it that he asserts that previous feelings cannot be experienced by the mind?
Because it's gone, it's empty, just memorize, you know, actually not there. Feeling is gone.
But I mean, you can, you know, let's say you have some kind of trauma and you dream it.
Okay, feeling is, this is like, see, we have like, see, yesterday you have feeling, you can memorize that, right?
Yeah.
That is dependent.
Yes, I understand that it's not independent.
Okay,
I just don't know why it means you can't experience it.
Okay, independent, then you cannot have experience. Dependently, yes, dependently you can remember yesterday what you did. You know, maybe you have some really joy feelings. You can remember that. You know, you can have feeling that. That means like it's dependent. Okay, it's here says you cannot have means like permanently not. If the permanent means like, you know, cannot be gone, right?
Oh, okay.
Gone is like not there. So main point, this group debating is there, always there. See, always there means like how can always there? See, if yesterday is gone, past is gone, future is not yet, then present is mind cannot, you know, dependent each other. Is because unrelated to each other is simultaneously comes. So this all is talking about the you know, independent feeling.
Okay, maybe
Permanent.
the same answer to my next question, which is 99. Okay, 99. So this was the one where he says feelings and mind arise simultaneously.
Yeah.
What if they're just the same thing? There's not a difference between feeling is mind, feeling and mind arise simultaneously.
If a feeling is mind, then how can mind can experience feeling?
I don't know. How do we experience the world? Somehow we do.
So thoughts is mind or mind is thoughts? What are you going to say?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, saying that no answer there because reason is mind, the thoughts are not exist. The feeling and the mind both are not exist. That's why you cannot give answer, truth answer, like means like say, okay, feeling and the mind is like permanently exist and the mind feeling comes together, then like you cannot give answer anything.
Okay, I really want to ask you from like my personal experience, not from a logical debate, but what is going on? It seems like people have their habitual tendencies to have certain feelings, and it's kind of separate from what might actually happen in the world. Each of us may tend to perceive things based on our past experiences and our past habits. So couldn't you say that, sort of the karmic winds are the cause and the feeling is the result?
So that's our Shantideva said, because that means dependent, dependent. So
Yes.
this is a dependent relatively, that we not denied anything about that. So individually you can have feelings going, comes, goes. That means like feeling is impermanent. Feeling is not permanent. So feeling
Yes,
is not truly exist there. Feeling is just temporary, all the time comes, goes, temporary. And temporarily you can remember what you did, because it's like we talked already, like the continue, this is the same, Jing continue is the same. There is last way we have like, see, answer is there. I think it's a continuity or something. It's like kept going.
Continuity.
Yeah, it's kept going same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have like, think about 1 hour means like 60 minutes, right? So Shantideva, he talking about 1 minute is not exist. So you say 1 minute is exist because I have 1 hour. Shantideva said, no, 1 minute is not exist. That's why you have 1 hour. You say
Yes.
minute is exist. That's why I have hour.
Yes.
Yeah. So Shantideva says minutes is exist permanently. Then that minutes is like always there, stuck there. You cannot come second, third. It cannot change. So see, it's like easy to one. Another way is very easy to understand.
Yeah, I think everyone can get the idea that impermanence is the easiest way to understand this material, but the actual arguments that are used can be hard to follow at moments.
This going to very subtle level logic,
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like when this sentence in 96, something physical cannot possibly meet something non-physical. What? It's like, what about sunlight? Like, I don't know. Like, is there something physical? Like, I don't even understand that sentence. First of all, I'm like, does physical things, do they exist? Is everything non-physical? Since it's partless, you could break it down forever. Like, I don't even know how to understand that sentence. And there's certain things like that along the way.
So
That sentence, I think that's one of my favorite sentences.
that favors your sentence, right?
I like that sentence a lot.
Can you explain for Sandra? How is it become your?
It's phenomenology is what it is. It's how does cognition happen is what he's talking about. And well, sunlight actually is physical because you have those particles. And I mean, this was written, you have to think about the time when it was written. They didn't have atoms. They couldn't study atoms and break them down. But like Khenpo, thank God Khenpo's here to explain the text, because I would be lost without him explaining it too. I think what Khenpo was saying there was, when I was a little bit stuck, is that the whole point is that they're not outside of time and space like awareness is, or like, the ground of everything, or like, the only permanent awareness, which is also dependent on our ability to participate with it. But that's the only permanent thing, is emptiness. That I think that's the main point, is saying that the objects of awareness and awareness, they come together and they create phenomenon. But because it's temporary, it can be destroyed. It's not permanent. It isn't real. And the argument is, from A to B to B to C. And so the argument is, it is not real because it's not permanent. Permanent nature is the only thing that's real. Everything else is impermanent. And so since they arrive, they subside, they're not real. Is that kind of Khenpo? little bit?
I think so. Yes, could,
All
yeah.
right, for me too, so I'm trying.
I'm really trying to say what are the sense objects, and aren't they just part of our mind? How are they different from our mind? And if our mind, how can you say we can't meet them? Like just everything, like, you
Yeah,
know.
that goes back to like the Janindriyas and the Karmendriyas and how he's talking about the aggregates and how they break them down. Like there's this whole philosophy that's part of it. Like Khenpo was saying, like all these aggregates that make up the senses, and how awareness and phenomenology happens. And that is, that's fascinating. That's the whole study of it. Like they have like different theories. Like he's saying the Samkhya philosophy has one way of putting it forth. And then, we're looking at it.
Yes. Well, this section was because of people who believed in a real small particle somewhere. And so this is refuting that idea that there's a real permanent particle somewhere. But I'm not trying to hold on to that idea. I'm just trying to understand the sentence on its own. Is that possible?
Yeah, I got stuck there too. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, mine is not tangible, right? You can't. That's why it's not physical. It's not tangible. Like you can't find it.
Yeah.
And
are objects tangible? Really?
Objects are tangible. Yes, you can touch. But mine is untangible. You can't touch it. You can't find it. That's why. Your mind can't touch physical because it's not tangible, like physical objects. But then I guess to really understand it, you have to be enlightened.
Did this kind of come back to the example when Shantideva was talking about the child of a barren woman? Like the two could not come together. You couldn't have a barren woman and a child. So, I mean, the two cannot meet, because if you're a barren woman, you're not going to have a child. And if you're a child, you're not going to be coming from a barren woman. So was that the example that kind of describes this a little bit, Khenpo, from Shantideva's previous teaching?
Yes, that's a good example too. Like two barren women have created two child, that two child can meet together or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I have a
think
question.
kind of like if you have a feeling something, like example, dream last night, and your eye see the object, your senses, the senses faculties see the object, and they have object, you have sensitive faculty, right? Senses faculty is there. You have consciousness, because the consciousness. So then that time you is there, you're receiving the feeling. So when you wake up, where is that object? Where is that senses? When you wake up, there's no any that exists there, right? Three of them gone. So that's why he's just see, I see and touch appear to me, but have no true existing. Their nature is like a dream and illusion. So think about that. Then that's, I think, is just don't read other one.
That's fine. I mean, just even the idea that we have a consciousness that's in our body somewhere. How
you say you have a consciousness somewhere in the body?
Well, something is in our heart center somewhere that leaves us when we die. I don't know what it is. So, that seems like a place where maybe the non-physical is meeting the physical. I don't know. Maybe, hormones are kind of a place where physical and non-physical meet. You have feelings generating.
Okay, delusionally, you have all these meetings, right? So now we are delusion, we have meetings, these things, but when you free from the delusion, you don't have meetings then. So like that, yeah. Okay, so now I think finish your questions. So we
I
can do
think,
the
I think Raul had a question, Khenpo, but he couldn't get his sound to work. No.
Rahul has tonight is like Dharmakaya. Many become their emanations. His voice, Sambhonakaya. So he can make lots, millions emanations Sambhonakaya. So
I'm ready to
that's
go
why
with something.
he wanted to be in the Dharmakaya nature. He don't want to come down into the emanations, right? You want to be in nature, right? Yeah.
I studied philosophy. Philosophy has been wrestling with consciousness and materialism in the West just as long as they have in the East. How do you have matter and consciousness? And, you know, the context, I think, in which we're coming to that this culturally is that we're still in many ways in Newtonian physics, which is very materialistic. But since Einstein has come along and quantum physics, the universe is looking more and more like a great thought and less like a machine. Even the term atom is no longer really a correct term because they don't believe in particles anymore. You know, they talk about particles, but they come and go. They don't have any real existence because they're interchangeable with energy. And so that's just one thought. My question for you is, when we're cultivating relative bodhicitta, are we really cultivating a certain kind of feeling, Khenpo?
Yes.
And absolute bodhicitta is beyond all feeling.
Yes.
Okay, last little bit, just so everybody knows, the little 53 just before the 97 in our document is actually a footnote.
Okay.
It's not a verse. I think you said it was a verse, but it's actually a footnote.
Okay.
Hey, Khenpo, can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Yes.
It's just trying to work the path, you know, because everybody have feeling. I understand about the matter and emptiness and everything, but we have feelings. And like you said, we have imprints. We are here because we have some imprint and we have delusion mind. And the feeling is so sometimes we understand, and you said that it's emptiness, but we feel it strong in us, you know. He guides us. Like you said, we make wrong decisions because the feeling is controlling us right now. The idea that Shantideva is doing all this logic is just to break that. It's just to help us to break that mental habit to be controlled by our emotions and to understand that feeling really doesn't exist. But we understand that they exist and we love it. And we continue doing the stupid things that we do, like anger and attract to things and everything. But in reality, what he's saying, the logic that he's breaking our wisdom, try to put some wisdom there that really they don't exist. It doesn't matter what you're looking for there, and you have to avoid, you have to work to control that. And my question is that what you said is that we need to continue to practice every day to try to realize this and avoid to be controlled by our own emotion.
Yes. We have to free from our habituate.
Yes.
Yeah. So we says like the absolute nature mind is self-arising, no Buddha wisdom. Okay, so then yet because of habitual grasping dualistic conception, we are bound by it, you see. So no matter what we do, as supplicant Tara of non-draw wisdom, please protect us. We have to supplication to Tara and free from this dualistic conceptual habitual tendency, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, practice until he enter
Yeah.
here, and we can block
Okay.
the habit. Thank you,
So
Khenpo.
thank you. We're going to do the dedication.
Am I doing dedication?
Okay, so dedication is I can see the cards. Can you read that dedication?
Sure. Thank you, Khenpo. Sure. Emaho. In the center is the marvelous Buddha Amitabha, boundless light. On the right side is the Lord of great compassion. And on the left is Vajrapani, the Lord of powerful means. All are surrounded by limitless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Immeasurable peace and happiness is the blissful Pure Land of Dewa-Chen. When I and all beings pass from samsara, may we be born there without taking samsaric rebirth. May I have the blessing of meeting Amitabha face to face. By the power of the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, attain this aspiration without hindrance. Teyata Pinsandreya Awa Bodhanaya Soha. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind. Where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By this virtue, may I achieve omniscience. By defeating all enemies, confusion, may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. As Manjushri the warrior realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. May the teachings of the great Khenpo Ratnasri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Thank you.
Thank you, Kades. Okay. Good evening, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Khenpo.
so we don't have a teaching tomorrow, but
We have morning program, right, Khenpo? You broke up.
yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
morning. All right, super.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Khenpo.
Khenpo.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.